1. Lake Bled. Tucked into the Julian Alps like a gemstone in a velvet case, Lake Bled is Slovenia's most iconic destination, a poetic fusion of emerald waters, alpine peaks, and fairy-tale charm. As you approach, the first thing that captures your eye is the picture-perfect island. In the center of the lake, crowned by the Assumption of Mary Church, the bell tower rises proudly, its chime echoing across the waters as rowboats drift like silent swans. To truly experience Bled, take a traditional wooden pletna boat, a custom unique to this region, and glide over the shimmering surface to the island. Once there, climb the 99 stone steps to the church, where legend says if you ring the bell and make a wish, it will come true. The spiritual stillness of the island contrasts beautifully with the vibrant atmosphere around the lake. Perched high above the waters is Bled Castle, Slovenia's oldest medieval fortress, with panoramic terraces overlooking the lake and the distant Karavank Mountains. The castle's museum traces the region's deep history, from feudal times to present day. Beneath the cliffs, the lakefront promenade invites you to stroll beneath chestnut trees, past cafes offering kremsnita, Bled's signature vanilla custard cake, served since the 1950s. For adventurers, a walk around the lake, about 6 kilometers, provides constantly changing vistas, from the mighty reflection of the Alps on calm waters to the majestic swans that glide silently near the reeds. Visit in spring for blossoming wildflowers, or autumn when the foliage ignites in hues of fire. 2. Ljubljana. Slovenia's enchanting capital, Ljubljana, blends the elegance of old Europe with the pulse of a youthful, creative soul. Built along the winding Ljubljana River, the city feels more like a quaint riverside village than a capital. Yet, it brims with cultural riches. Baroque facades, Art Nouveau gems, and cutting-edge design studios hidden behind centuries-old walls. Begin in Piran Square, where the pink facade of the Franciscan church and the statue of Slovenia's national poet welcome you. The iconic Triple Bridge, designed by architect Jos Plečnik, connects the medieval town to the modern side. Plečnik's influence is everywhere, in colonnades, arcades, markets, and riverside walkways, earning Ljubljana the nickname the Architect's City. Wander through Ljubljana Castle, perched above the old town. A funicular or forested path leads to this medieval fort, with panoramic views stretching across the city to the Alps. Inside, you'll find rotating art exhibits, a puppet museum, and a virtual tour through Slovenia's storied past. The riverbanks are a mosaic of open-air cafes, jazz bars, and weekend markets. On Sundays, the flea market draws locals and collectors, while the central market bustles daily with fresh produce, cheeses, honey, and handcrafted goods. Visit the quirky Mitokova district for graffiti-covered art spaces, indie music venues, and Slovenia's counterculture heartbeat. Ljubljana is green in every sense, pedestrian-friendly, bikeable, and ecologically progressive. With its leafy parks, riverside serenity, and deep intellectual roots, it's a capital city that feels like home. 3. Triglav National Park in Mount Triglav. The soul of Slovenia resides in Triglav National Park, named after Mount Triglav, the country's highest peak and its most sacred symbol. Towering at 2,864 meters, Triglav isn't just a mountain, it's a rite of passage. Slovenians believe that one hasn't truly become Slovene until they've climbed it. But the park's grandeur isn't limited to the summit. It's a sprawling natural cathedral of alpine meadows, crystalline lakes, dense pine forests, and roaring rivers. Trails crisscross the landscape, ranging from gentle family walks to adrenaline-pumping ascents that require via ferrata gear. The Seven Lakes Valley is a highlight, an alpine paradise of glacial lakes, each nestled in a glacial cirque, reflecting the sky like stained glass. Along the way, mountain huts offer hearty stews and strukelji dumplings to fuel your journey. In spring and summer, wildflowers carpet the meadows, and marmots peek from rocky outcrops. Autumn paints the larches gold, and in winter, snowshoeing or ski touring unveils a silent, frozen world. For mountaineers, the Via Alpina route or the north face of Triglav is a pilgrimage. Reaching the summit, often via the narrow ridge of Fier or Bamberg route, is both physically and spiritually exhilarating. The famous Aljaz Tower at the top serves as both a weather station and a national monument, flying the Slovene flag over the roof of the world. 4. Piran. On Slovenia's tiny Adriatic coast, wedged between Italy and Croatia, lies Piran, a jewel of Venetian heritage with Mediterranean soul. With its narrow cobbled streets, Gothic windows, red-tiled roofs, and sea salt breeze, it evokes the romance of coastal Italy, but with a quieter, uniquely Slovene rhythm. At the heart of Piran is Tartini Square, Named after native son and violinist Giuseppe Tartini, the square is a marble amphitheater of pastel buildings, outdoor cafes, and the striking town hall. A short climb up to St. George's Church reveals a bell tower modeled after Venice's Campanile, and from it, some of the finest coastal views in Slovenia. Stroll along the old town walls for sweeping vistas over Piran's peninsula, framed by the glistening sea and distant silhouettes of Trieste and the Istrian coast. The marina is alive with bobbing sailboats, while the promenade curves past tiny beaches and rocky swimming spots. Seafood is king here. Enjoy fresh calamari, octopus salad, or Buzara-style mussels with a glass of local Malvesa wine at one of the seaside taverns. At sunset, the sky flares pink, the bells chime across the harbor, and the old town glows like a living painting. 5. Postana Cave in Predjama Castle. Beneath Slovenia's karst surface lies a world of mystery and awe, and nowhere is that more vivid than Postana Cave, a 24-kilometer subterranean labyrinth of stalactites, stalagmites, and cathedral-like chambers. It's the only cave in the world with an underground electric train, which takes you deep into the earth like a descent into Jules Verne's imagination. The cave formations are mind-bending in their scale and beauty. The brilliant, a dazzling white stalagmite, is a national treasure. The concert hall, with its soaring acoustics, has hosted classical music performances more than 100 meters underground. Not far away, carved into a cliffside like something out of a fantasy novel, stands Predjama Castle, the largest cave castle in the world. This 800-year-old fortress blends seamlessly with the yawning cavern, once home to the legendary knight Arizem of Predjama, Slovenia's Robin Hood. Tales of his secret tunnel escapes and defiance of emperors echo through its damp stone halls. Together, Postana and Predjama form one of Europe's most thrilling and cinematic experiences, half natural wonder, half medieval legend. 6. Lake Bohin. Often overshadowed by its glamorous cousin Lake Bled, Lake Bohin is Slovenia's best-kept secret. Wilder, quieter, and arguably more majestic. Situated in the heart of Triglav National Park, this glacial lake is framed by rugged cliffs, dark alpine forests, and the dramatic peaks of the Julian Alps. It's a place where nature is still raw, unfiltered, and hauntingly beautiful. The lake's glassy surface mirrors the towering Mount Vogel and the ever-changing moods of the sky. Unlike Bled, there are no islands or castles, just raw nature, pristine silence, and a sense of deep peace. The water, cold and crystal clear, is perfect for kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, or swimming in summer. The Ribsovlaz stone bridge and the charming church of St. John the Baptist, with its medieval frescoes, mark the entrance to the lake. From here, hiking trails diverge in every direction, some leading to hidden alpine pastures, others to mighty waterfalls like Savica, the source of the river Sava Bohinka. A climb to Savica reveals a fierce, emerald cascade crashing through a rocky cleft, one of Slovenia's most iconic natural landmarks. For panoramic views, ride the Vogel cable car to the high plateau above. In winter, this transforms into one of Slovenia's premier ski resorts, with sweeping alpine vistas and relatively uncrowded slopes. In summer, the same peaks offer incredible hiking routes with fields of alpine flowers, and the occasional chamois silhouetted against the sky. Unlike more commercialized alpine lakes, Bohin feels elemental, an echo of an older, slower Slovenia where time moves with the rhythm of the mountains. 7. Scotchin Caves. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Scotchin Caves offer a subterranean experience, so epic and surreal that it leaves even the most seasoned travelers speechless. Carved over millennia by the Logarska River, these caves are not just a geological marvel, they're a descent into an underworld that feels mythological in scale. What sets Scocjan apart is the cavernous underground canyon, one of the largest in the world, as you walk along narrow paths suspended high above a roaring river, with stalactites hanging like stone icicles above and mist rising from the depths below. You feel like you've entered the realm of Tolkien's Middle-earth. The Martel Chamber is as massive as a cathedral, and the bridge crossing the cavern, 120 meters above the river, seems almost impossible in its construction. The caves aren't just about size, they also preserve unique ecosystems. Bats dart through pitch-black tunnels, and rare cave beetles and blind salamanders thrive in this eternal twilight. Human traces dating back to prehistoric times have been found here, suggesting early humans also felt the cave's mystical pull. Above ground, the Scocjan Education Trail loops around dramatic karst sinkholes, collapsed cave ceilings, and panoramic lookouts. Unlike the more commercialized Postana, Scocjan is quieter and more intimate, offering an almost spiritual connection to the Earth's ancient forces. 8. Soka River Valley. If Slovenia has a sacred river, it is the Soka, known as the Emerald Beauty. The Soka River cuts a vivid turquoise ribbon through alpine valleys, deep gorges, and sunlit meadows. It's not just a river, it's an experience, a lifeline for outdoor adventurers and a muse for poets and photographers. The Soka originates high in the Julian Alps and carves its way south through Buvik, Kobarid, and Tolmin, each village offering a distinct gateway into the valley's wild heart. The region is paradise for adrenaline seekers. Whitewater rafting, kayaking, canyoning, and fly fishing are world-class here. The rapids can range from beginner-friendly to heart-pounding, especially near Buvik where the river dances between steep canyon walls. Above the river, the Ljubljana Trail and Soka Trail provide scenic hikes with footbridges, waterfalls, and interpretive signs revealing the region's ecological and cultural richness. Highlights include Great Soka Gorge, a narrow, vertical canyon with water so clear and blue it looks artificial. The valley is also steeped in history. In Kobarid, visit the award-winning World War I Museum, which documents the bloody Isenso front, where Ernest Hemingway served and which inspired a farewell to arms. The surrounding peaks still bear the scars of trench warfare, and memorial trails like the Walk of Peace connect old battle sites and trenches. The Soka Valley is one of those rare places where high-octane adventure, deep historical gravity, and raw natural beauty converge into an unforgettable journey. 9. Logar Valley, Logarska Dolina. Nestled in the Kamnik-Savinja Alps, Logar Valley is Slovenia's Alpine Eden, serene, majestic, and untouched by time. This glacial valley is a sanctuary of peace, where wildflower-strewn meadows stretch toward dramatic cliffs, and waterfalls tumble from mossy ledges into icy brooks. From the moment you enter the valley through the Salkava panoramic road, you're enveloped by a cinematic beauty that feels almost unreal. Towering peaks like Mount Ojstrica form a natural amphitheater around you, while wooden hayricks and traditional farms dot the landscape like postcards from the 19th century. The valley itself is car-free for much of the year, making it perfect for hiking, cycling, and horseback riding. The gentle Logar Valley Trail is an ideal introduction, leading through forest paths and meadows to the Rinka waterfall, one of Slovenia's highest at 90 meters. The water plunges in a graceful ribbon from a cliffside grotto, feeding the Savinja River. Logar Valley is also part of the Salkava region, known for its sustainable tourism and traditional alpine life. Stay at a family-run tourist farm, savor homemade scansi, or learn how locals still make cheese in wooden alpine huts. In autumn, the larch trees turn gold, and the valley feels like a hidden Tibetan retreat. Few places in Europe offer such tranquility and authenticity without crowds. Logar Valley is a whisper of what the Alps used to be before tourism, and it's Slovenia's gift to those willing to slow down and listen. 10. Ptuj. While Slovenia is often associated with its alpine and coastal treasures, the eastern town of Ptuj adds a rich cultural and historical dimension to the country's identity. Regarded as Slovenia's oldest town, Ptuj is a living museum of Roman, medieval, and Baroque architecture, all layered across a gentle hill overlooking the Drava River. Its crown jewel is Ptuj Castle, dramatically perched above the town. Inside, visitors find lavish rooms filled with antique musical instruments, traditional masks, and medieval armor. The view from the castle walls sweeps over Ptuj's terracotta rooftops, the Drava's lazy bends, and the fertile plains beyond. The town's Roman roots run deep. Once called Potovio, Ptuj was a vital Roman military base, and later a prosperous town. Today, its Roman heritage lives on in the Orpheus Monument, ancient gravestones, and the annual Roman Games Festival that transforms the town into a living history tableau with gladiators and togas. Wander the cobbled streets lined with wine cellars, Gothic churches, and pastel buildings housing artisan shops and art galleries. Ptuj is also the heart of Slovenia's Stajerska wine region, famous for its aromatic whites like Laski Riesling and Traminer. Wine tastings here are often accompanied by local stories and folk music. In February, Ptuj hosts Kurentovanj, one of Europe's most unique and primal carnivals. Fur-clad Kurenti, wearing masks with horns and giant cowbells, parade through the town to chase away winter and evil spirits, a tradition dating back to pagan Slavic times. Ptuj is Slovenia's cultural soul, a town where history lives, wine flows, and ancient rituals still echo through its narrow alleys.